Hey Jens, welcome to the play. Before we begin, I gotta tell you some rules. First and foremost, turn off them dang cell phones. That means you, hun. Take it out, shut it down. You don't want to be the jag whose phone goes off in the middle of the performance, do ya? Next, no pictures and that. This ain't the prom. Also, there's no intermission, so just settle it down. It'll be over before you know it. And for crying in the sink, unwrap that candy now. Oh, my laundry, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard listening to someone try to secretly unwrap a mint. Well, that's it, Pork Pit. Now enjoy the show.
Pittsburgh town is a smoky old town. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh town is a smoky old town. Solid iron from the keys poured down. Pittsburgh, Lord God, Pittsburgh. Well, what did Jones and Laughlin steal? Pittsburgh. What did Jones and Laughlin steal? Pittsburgh. What did Jones and Laughlin steal? Up and down the river just as far as you can see in Pittsburgh, Lord God, Pittsburgh. All I do is cough and choke in Pittsburgh. All I do is cough and choke in Pittsburgh. All I do is cough and choke from the iron filings to the sulfur smoke in Pittsburgh, Lord God, Pittsburgh. The Monongahela to the Ohio in Pittsburgh. Monongahela to the Ohio in Pittsburgh. Monongahela to the Ohio. They're joining up in the CIO in Pittsburgh. Lord God, Pittsburgh. Standing up here near my house on the top of the south side slopes, I can see all the way from the hill of Troy clear to the hill of Squirrel. I just moved here. I don't usually stay in one place too long, but I feel a connection to Pittsburgh, and I'm not sure why. I look out over the flats below me. It's beautiful today. Quiet. Clear blue skies, the sun is shining, a dusting of white snow on the ground. I can hear the morning doves chirping, a breeze blowing, a train in the distance, a perfect winter day. What was that? A woman? That cannot be good. Then I hear crying, dry crying, that kind of cry that doesn't know it's a cry yet. Involuntary, it's sound escaping your body, it's raw, dry. I hear that sound and everything changes. I know it well. I'm in the presence of death. I gotta get out of here. I want no part of this. I make a move to go back to my house, but it's too late. There's a woman standing in the middle of the street, blonde, weathered. She runs to me, she grabs my arm and says, "Irene's dead!" I reach for my cell phone. 911, what's your emergency? Hello? A woman was found dead in her home. Where are you located? Stromberg Street in the slopes. Is the body cold? What? Is the body cold? I'm sorry, I don't think I understand the question. I need to know if there's a chance for survival. Oh, no, I don't think so. I need you to be sure. It makes a difference in how quickly the ambulance arrives. Oh. If the body is cold, they won't rush to get there, potentially risking lives in the process. Oh. So, is she cold? Do you want me to go check? Did you find the body? No. Who did? A lady, a blonde lady. Ask her. You want me to ask a woman I don't know if the body she found is cold? It's an option. She just found a dead body. And it's a pretty harsh question. I need to know this information before I send somebody. Either ask her or go and check yourself. Are you saying that you won't come if I don't do this? I'm not saying that. Well, what are you saying? Is the body cold? Buy me a cold one and I'll tell you how to make steel. Steel is iron and a little bit of carbon or coke. No, not the pop. No, not the drug eater. An alloy. What's an alloy? Jeez. Who don't know what an alloy is? An alloy is a mixture of 2 or more metals. Bessemer. Bessemer made all the difference. Bessemer makes steel and mucho. And just kidding. You don't know what Bessemer is? Are you from Pittsburgh? Steel is frickin' everywhere. You should know these things. Okay, not in food, but food making, harvesting, serving initiatives. You know, your car, your sewing machine, your gun, steel. Hey, you know smelt? The one who smelt it, dealt it. I'm just kidding. Smelt to extract the metal, but you gotta remove the impurities using limestone, and what's left over is slag, worthless material. I worked in the slag heap. Hey, Billy, give me another iron and whatever this young lady wants. Yeah, where were we now? Bessemer, smelting, slag, right? Slag, worthless material except in concrete. Slag makes concrete better. Yeah, but you wouldn't know that by the looks of our roads. I don't know. 30 years on the line, making steel, making slag. What do you want from me? It was a dirty job, but I loved it. And I hated it. Making steel makes carbon monoxide and slag. 2 real bad things, they tell me now. I guess when you make something so great, you can't help but get something a little bad. Hey, Billy! My iron! Denny, punk, lived on Oakley Way in the house that the fat girl lived in. The fat girl looked like a boy, and her parents, Jerry was a dad, he died, diabetes, lost his leg, I think, remember that? I lived in Jeffrey's old house when I was a girl, the one that burnt down. You don't remember that, you weren't here. And then he lived in the fat girl's house. I miss him, Denny. 45 years together, I thought he'd live longer. He had all that work done on him, I thought he would last. But he wouldn't stop the smoking and the drinking, that's what killed him. He had all them surgeries, carotid artery, quadruple bypass. They took veins from his legs, he bounced back in 5 days, but he wouldn't stop the smoking. He loved his smoking. His aunt used to tell me she'd catch him 6 years old hiding underneath the city steps, right underneath smoking butt, 6 years old. He stopped smoking for 1 week his whole life since he was 6 and then he died. I moved here when I was 11. I hated Denny. He'd always chase me around. I think, who's this guy think he is? His family always had Chryslers, real nice Chryslers. He'd drive his dad's car around, had a funny horn on it. He'd beep at me. I think, who's this guy think he is? And my dad worked at J&L. He was a crane man. He made more money than most of them, but he had all them kids to take care of. 8 girls, 3 boys, and his hours always changed. Sometimes it was 11 to 7, sometimes it was 7 to 3, sometimes it was 3 to 11. Always changed, made him crazy. I used to tease my dad after my mom died. I'd say, what do you know about raising kids? I miss Daddy. Sometimes I'm mad at him. Sometimes I talk to him, yell at him. Why didn't he just stop the smoking? I never smoked, I never drank, all the men did and all the men are gone. My car's broke. I gotta get a new one. I gotta go around and get my prescriptions. I don't want to end up in an old person's home. I'd have a breakdown. I don't like that. Feeling like you're trapped. Closing the door like you're in a motel. I need a veranda. Somewhere I can go outside, but I need a car so I can go to John Eagle get my prescriptions. I get them cheap there because I'm a senior, $4. Some of them are $11, but when you're getting 15 a month prescriptions, that could add up. There's a lot of blacks at the John Eagle. Used to be all whites. Now I'm the minority. Hey, I'm not prejudiced. My cousin's granddaughter has a black baby, and he's so cute and so polite and so nice. I could never be mean to him. I could never hate him. She don't think of him as black. She don't. Thank God that hasn't happened in my family. Danny was real prejudiced. He and his brother was real mean to the blacks. Back then, people were real mean to the blacks. I don't know why. They live up there in the projects up in Arlington Heights, and I don't know. I guess there was some problems, but people gotta live somewhere. But like I said, this one real cute. So polite. People compete too much now. Everything's a competition. Have more, buy more, get more. How much more do you need? I just need a car so I can go around and get my prescriptions. I got a mechanical valve in my heart. I got to take pills for the rest of my life. Used to be I couldn't breathe. I couldn't keep up with Denny. I'd have to tell him to slow down. Then they found that block and I had that bypass and now I'm healthy. Well, not healthy, but... Yeah, we were both there when Denny died. Me and Katie. He was with the people who loved him. 6:30 in the morning, I screamed. Katie came up and laid him on the floor, asked me if I wanted her to do mouth to mouth, and I said, no, that's stupid. I could see the vein in his neck. After the surgery, it would throb. And it stopped throbbing. His eyes were wide open and I knew he was gone. I closed his eyes and I had to laugh at the funeral. It looked like he was winking at me. I gotta get that door fixed. It looks terrible. I can't leave it like that for the summer. It's an eyesore. Will you please get that out of your mouth? You do not know where that has been. Thank you. Sorry. I just need to get away from these kids for a little bit. I mean, not really. This last month has been hard. We just moved here from Florida. My husband's from here. I'm not from here. I'm from Florida. It's different here. I don't know nobody. I just had a baby, my second, my first is 3, and my husband thought it would be a good idea if we come up here, move our lives, change everything that we know, and come up to this cold, gray, strange place. I never thought I'd live in Pittsburgh. Nicky's from here. He grew up here. Well, not here in the South Side, but in the South Hills. His grandparents lived here in that house. He spent time here as a kid. His grandma had a pool and one of them bird houses that looked like real houses, had like 20 doorways in it, something like 50 birds flying in and out all day during the summer, Nicky said. The bird house is gone. Nicky's cousin Wendy took it for her yard. The pool's gone too. His grandma just passed and left her son the house, Nicky's dad. His parents don't want to move to the South Side. They are just fine in the South Hills. I mean, they have a jacuzzi. Who wouldn't be? Nobody else in the family want to come back here and live in the past. I mean, that's what it feels like, the past. Flower print drawer liners, wall-to-wall carpet even in the kitchen. Appliances that are older than me, and it smells like mothballs in every closet. Nicky lost his job in Florida, and we have 2 little kids. He just thought we could make a fresh start up here. I mean, the house is paid off. We wouldn't have any rent. That's a big help with 2 kids, 2 really little ones. It's different here. I mean, it's really beautiful. The view from down the street is amazing. You can see the downtown and a river and some bridges. And there's wild animals too here like deer. It's nice. It seems like we're high up, but it feels like we're low. I don't know, like in a valley. We've been here a month, and we haven't met any of our neighbors. I mean, they don't know us. And I mean, I walk the kids every day. I mean, yesterday I was walking the kids, and I seen these 2 ladies on their back porch. And I waved to them, and they just stare at us. They don't smile or wave or do nothing. And then a few houses down, there's somebody else on their back porch peeling something, probably a potato or something, and somebody with her, probably the son of the potato peeling woman, and he's leaning over the railing, staring at us. And I wave to him, and the son waves back the smallest wave, the weirdest wave I've ever seen. Like he didn't want to do it. Like it accidentally happened, but the potato peeling woman, nothing. She couldn't be bothering me. I don't understand it. The houses are built so close together, how can they pretend we're not here? I think people up here are suspicious, like we done something, or about to do something. I am just afraid that when Nicky and I fight, they can hear everything. All our problems. That's why I think they can at least be friendly. They already know our business. Got the garden looking all flowery and blooming. Who's the gardener? Oh, is it you, buddy? Oh, there he is. He looks so handsome. Come here, let me look at your eyes. He got allergies and that in his eyes. You know what works? Tea bags. Yeah, you got an old tea bag lying around, you put it right on there to clear it right up. Or hot spots. You know, hot spots when they itch and scratch on a hair ball, and that's a hot spot. You put another tea bag on that and clear it right up. Yeah. Tea bag's good for everything, for them, for us too. Toothache, tea bag, sunburn, tea bag, dry skin, tea bag. Yeah. Hey, where's your little girl at? Around here somewhere. Oh, there she is. Mrs. T, right? Oh, there she is. You come over here and see me. Oh, yeah, here she comes. Oh, no, she's going over that chair. Well, I don't blame you. That's a nice chair, too. It got a good ventilation, yeah. Oh, you barking. Oh, is that your squirrel friend on the wire? Yeah, that's Sammy. Yeah, here he comes. Oh, you talking to him, yeah. Hey, I got all the animals around here. I got a raccoon, Big Daddy. He's got a girlfriend on the side. I try to trap one of them so they don't get hurt, and here I nabbed a possum. Petunia! She come back 3 days later wanting some fancy better be careful around here. There's that guy up on Neil Street. He loved to trap. I don't know about him. He loved to trap, and he got a real Main Street in him, and he don't have respect for people's kitties. You notice animal control around here a lot lately? Yep. That's why I tell people with the kitties to watch out. That's why I like to get to know the new kitties I see. I want to know their names, where they live, because if I see a sign with a picture of an animal lost on it, I write the number down. Because they zoom up here. They zoom up and down, and you never know. I write the number down in case I see them later. Yeah. I got this groundhog come around that night. I gotta tell him to go back down. Stay out of sight, not now. Not everybody likes a groundhog and a raccoon. Well, they all come to my house because I feed them. And I tell them where not to go. I try to trap them so they don't get hurt. And they all eat different things. So you know we got our own personal robins. They eat the dry dog food, yeah. Sometimes I go to my kitchen, I open up the cupboard, I say, what do we have? Who eats what? Yeah. Oh, hey, hello. Oh, it's just a mailman. Okay, I'll go. I'll let Jim's rest. Oh, buddy. Is the body cold? What? The emergency operator won't send somebody unless I find out if the body is cold? I called 911 so that somebody else would take care of this. The blonde lady's a wreck. She's weeping and shaking in the middle of the street. I can't ask her if the body she found is cold. How can those words even come out of my mouth? I don't know Irene. I'm not her family. I'm barely even a neighbor. I just moved here. All I know is that she's a tiny old woman with a deep, smoky voice and always a cigarette dangling from her lips. The fire department had been called up to our street before because she fell asleep with one in her mouth. Oh, I have visions of a charred body in an easy chair, cigarette still lit. Oh, how did I get myself into this situation? I checked to see if any neighbors are around. Every other day, the Nebby neighbors are out in full force, but today, nothing. I think I have to do this. I enter Irene's house. It's a typical mill house like mine, 3 floors, basement first and second. It's freezing in here. There's nothing on this first floor except for a Moore heater. Doesn't this house have a furnace? I guess she lives upstairs in the wintertime. I brace myself and I ascend towards the heat. At the top of the stairs, I round the corner into her kitchen. The kettle is still on the stove. The milk cup and saucer are on the table. She's not here. Next is the living room. TV on, no volume. Afghan draped over a comfortable chair. She's not here. Next is the bedroom. Bed made. Pill bottles, lots of pill bottles on the nightstand. She's not here. The only room left is the bathroom. In the bathroom when you knocked. Well, this is it. Almost 40 years worth of stuff. Can you believe it? We bought this house and moved in on tax day, April 15th, 1974. I guess I've been collecting stuff ever since. Strange to see it all laid out in front of me like this. I don't remember buying half this crap. A woman was just in here, bought my silver, and as she was leaving, I thought, wait a minute, do I really want her to do that? Oh, but I never used it. It just sat in a box and looked pretty. Oh, Ed would have been pleased seeing all the people looking out the bedroom window, looking at the view. He would have liked that. Ed used to say when we first moved here that we won't tell people we're from the South Side. I guess back then the South Side wasn't one of your better communities, and he just said, oh, we'll tell people we're from the city. Well, there wasn't much of a view when we first moved in with J and L still here. Oh, I remember we had a white car. And I can remember coming down in the mornings and there'd be this gritty, dirty film all over the car. I mean, it wasn't as bad in the early 70s as it had been in the 20s and 30s when you saw pictures of downtown at high noon with the street lights on and it looked like nighttime. Ed worked in the mill while he was going to the Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics, and his dad would always say to him, you will not get stuck doing this job for the rest of your life like I did. His dad was, it was hard on them. He died in December of 70 before I met Ed. He was only 48 when he died. He died of internal bleeding. I think he'd done some serious liver damage and stuff from all the drinking. The mills were the cause of the drinking around here. They worked those men like dogs, and the bars were open 24 hours a day, and the shifts were 11 to 7, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, and whatever shift you got done working, you went straight to the bar. Drinking was a very, very big thing. I was cleaning out the attic, getting ready for this sale, and I found boxes and boxes with hundreds of empty bottles in them. I'd never seen so many empty bottles in my life. Why Ed took them upstairs instead of dumping them somewhere, I'll never know. I found out that Ed was an alcoholic the night we drove in from our wedding. We just finished unpacking the car, and Ed and his brother-in-law left to go get a six-pack, and I saw the look on Mom and Linda's faces, and I thought, what's the big deal? They deserve a six-pack after that. Well, the door wasn't even completely closed behind them, and Ed's mom said to me, we're assuming now that Ed is settling down, his drinking problem will go away. Had I been smart, I would have turned around and gone straight back to Iowa. I grew up in an alcoholic family. My dad was an alcoholic. My sister and 4 of my 5 brothers had drinking problems. I've been around alcoholism my whole life. I certainly didn't want to come 1,000 miles from home to a strange place, to an alcoholic husband. I wasn't ready for that. I stayed because I was naive, I guess. Probably I thought, oh, we'll get through this, but a new marriage? You know what that's like. You don't know what you're doing. You kind of just fall into it. I didn't know anybody here. I didn't really know Mom and Linda. I didn't really know Ed because it was a long-distance romance. Had I known him, I would have known he was an alcoholic. Pete didn't stand a chance because it was on my side and Ed's side. He was born with it. I don't care what anybody says. It's in your system. It's part of your genetics. Pete was doing pills for a long time. He got hooked on them after he got out of the service, where he got into an accident where he got burned. That is what started it. But I remember going down to his car and finding an empty cigarette pack and opening it up, and inside was a needle and an empty stamp bag. And I went straight to the police station and I said, is this what I think it is? And they said, yes, ma'am, it is. I knew that it was heroin immediately. When I saw that needle in that bag, I knew that it had to be. I would not wish that on anyone. It's been horrible. I stayed sober because somebody had to. I remember sitting at the dining room table with the 2 of them saying, I'm leaving. Who do I have to depend on? Nobody. I can't turn to either one of you. One of you sticks a needle in his arm, the other one of you drinks. Ed would always after ending up in the hospital that it would never happen again. He would always say that. It's not what killed him in the end. The cancer killed him, but I eat. That's my addiction. I stay fat. People want to keep secrets. They want to pretend that their marriage and their family are perfect, but I think drinking has affected everybody around here. Oh, my table's gone. I waited 20 years for that dining room set. I had hand-me-downs until then, and now it's gone. Along with almost everything else. You know, the older you get, the more you realize that things are just things. The memory of those things are in your heart. You don't have to have things in order to remember. I can remember plenty. It's the ones who wear their shirts like dress shirts, pulling their sweaters around their necks like they're life preservers, like they just got off a yacht. Yuppies. Southside had a bad rep when I was real young. Well, it was a tough neighborhood. There were fights. Fighting was how you figured out what you were made of. You fight and win, you got leverage. You fight and lose, at least you fought. You don't fight, you're gonna have problems. Me, I was a tough kid. I was the kind of kid with leverage. For a long time, tough was all we were. We didn't need to be anything else. Then the yuppies came in. Used to be shady side. You'd only find them over there in shady side. Not a lot of fighting going on over there in shady side. Yeah, but eventually it is. The yuppies, they go everywhere. Yuppies stand in line for a drink when there are 20 other bars on the south side empty. I mean, you'd agree with me on this, but I think I would say that Mario's changed the south side, brought in the yuppies. Used to be shot at beer bars, Mario's came and that was it. Oh, these yuppies stand in line. Guys with coats and girly tees and weird hair. Girls with puffy shoulders and pearls and weird hair. Yards of beer. These people were crazy, like they busted loose from something. Screaming, drunk, falling all over each other, crazy. $4 for a beer. Standing in line. I mean, Red Night Reeds was open and empty. These was open and empty. Except for a few guys, regulars. There must have been something magic in that place. Before it was Mario's, it was a hub. Yeah, it's where you go to buy pants. There's a clothing store, yeah. That's what it was. Things were stacked, real high up. A guy had to use a ladder to get to the pants you wore back then, the khakis and the jeans. Things were stacked clear to the frickin' ceiling. Yeah, it was jam-packed. You'd go in there, and this guy knew wherever he was. You'd go in there, you're like, I want a certain pair of pants. This guy was so good. Like I said, the pants went to the roof. He had bundles of pants. He stacks of pants. Stacks of pants on both sides. He pulled out pants. You tell him what pair of pants you want. He pulled out a stack, and he pulled out your pair. Even was in the middle. It was in the middle of the frickin' stack. He pulled it out. The stack would go like this. Hey, we tried that, then it toppled over. Yeah, that guy was good. Then the mill closed.
Then them stores started boarding up. It was empty for a while. Then this guy, Bob, he took a chance on the south side. He took a shot at investment. He opened up Mario's. Mario's is the first restaurant on the south side. First real one, fancy one, had fern plants. No one had fern plants. And the half yards of beer, fancy. We go past Mario's, there'd be a line to get in. A line. We're like assholes. We're paying how much for drinking in there? How many other parts of the south side didn't think? Mario's came and you just saw growth. And that's when the yuppies started moving in. Yep. Things keep changing. It hasn't changed much here. I used to come to this park all the time. I haven't been here in decades. My grandma lives 2 blocks over on Holt Street. We're having an estate sale this weekend. I used to live with my grandma growing up. Me, my little sister, my mom. I used to come to this park all the time with my dog Muffin to get away from them. There was this boy, Tony. He lived across the street from the park. He looked just like Joey from New Kids on the Block. Remember them? He was so cute. I was in love with Tony Joey. I didn't know him. I never formally met him, but I imagined him to be just like New Kids Joey, whom I didn't know either. I pretended they were both the same. Both real nice boys. Nice. Not the cutest one in the group, not the Jordan Knight, but not that weird-looking one either. I'd get all dressed up and walk Muffin to the park and sit on his swing facing his house, which was weird because I should have been facing into the park. But I wanted to see him, and I wanted him to see me, and I wanted to see him see me. I'd sit on that swing and stare at that house and pretend he was in there staring back at me, too shy to talk to me, but totally in love with me. I was too scared to talk to him, not too shy, too scared. I wasn't sure if all boys hated girls or if they grew out of that at some point. I wanted to like boys, I wanted them to like me, but I didn't know boys real well. My dad lost his job in a mill when I was in 3rd grade. He got hurt and he drank himself to death after that. We had to move in with my grandma. My grandpa died in the mill before I was born, so I didn't know him. So it was all girls. Boys were something foreign. I'd get all dressed up, sit on that swing, and try to look innocent and cute, but also sexy and approachable. I remember wearing my best outfits and that. I remember one time wearing a tight black top with a short skirt with a big black elastic waistband, my nude pantyhose, and my black Mary Janes. My grandma would always yell at me to wipe that whore paint off my face, but I never listened to her. Yeah, maybe I should have. God, I feel like such a desperate girl looking back. Every day in the summer between my 7th and 8th grade years, I'd sit on that swing and stare at that little brick house and nothing would ever happen. Tony Joey didn't want me like I wanted him. That was the truth. That was it. I didn't come back to this park too much after that summer. I haven't been here in 20 years. Growing up on the south side, everybody knew everybody. All the neighbors were nebby. You know that word? It means always in your business. You couldn't do anything without everybody in the street knowing about it. You'd be out and about getting into trouble when you come home.
When you walk in that door, your mom would be standing there with the kitchen stick. If she had that stick, you knew you were in trouble and somebody had ratted you out. But not everybody had a kitchen stick like we had in my mom's. Oh, my mom's kitchen stick was Mikey, how many times I gotta tell you, quit looking in Nancy's window? My mom, God rest her soul. My dad died when I was young and my mom raised me and my brother, and that stick she had was a 1x2. And she had a handle carved out like a whittled stick, so it was a good gripping stick. And she wrote Mike and Bill on it. And she hung it there in the kitchen. And anytime you come home and something was wrong, Louise called and said she was up to no good. Ma? Hey. It's not like we were abused or anything like that. But obviously, if you're stealing something or getting into fights, well, wait, not so much fights. I remember one time coming home crying after getting into a fight. My mom said, "Fight your own battles. Go on, just go." Your mom's not going to fight your battles for you. I'm not going to fight your battles for you. Get on out there and take care of business. Mikey was a good kid. Most of the time. But boy, could he get into trouble. He had these ideas. I didn't know where they come from. Oh, this one time, I was in the 6th grade. One time, he was in the 6th grade. He was just a baby practically. I was maybe 12 years old. And there was this thing going around. Now, I don't know where it come from, but it was these playing cards. He got a hold of these cards, like a deck of cards, 52 cards. But on the back side were pornographic. Somehow, he got a hold of these nasty cards, nudie cards. Somehow, I got a hold of them. I don't know how. I can't remember that. It was his best friend, Kenny. Kenny was a bad influence on my son. Kenny had a mom and a dad, and he was still bad. I went to St. Casimir's, and there was a lot of kids who was obviously perverts like myself, and they wanted to buy these cards. So I started selling these cards for like a nickel a piece. All the other boys in the neighborhood was so good, but Kenny was bad, and when Mikey got with Kenny, Jesus H! I started selling these cards, and it was a pretty good business. I knew something was up when he stopped asking me for money. See, my boys didn't get allowance, I didn't have it. After their father died, things was different and I just didn't have it. But Mikey was bad. Oh, he'd scream and cry and roll around on the floor just to get him to shut up. I'd give in. Every now and then I'd give him some change for candy. But during this time, he stopped asking me for money and I knew something was up. You can't fool your mom. But of course, these nuts, they ruled with an iron fist. And so began my demise. And you especially can't fool a nun. See, I knew what I was doing, sending my boys to Catholic school. Didn't think I could keep it up after their father died, but if one thing was going to save me and these boys, it was those nuns. They even scared me. So I was out in the schoolyard selling these cards, and the principal, Sister Ignella, she looks down out the window and she says, "McKay, don't move." Here I am with a handful of nickels and a half a deck of cards, and I don't know what to do. So I stick them on the right foot and I just stand there. I know, pretty dumb. His sister comes down and she says, "Empty your pockets." So I empty my pockets, and of course there's nothing in there. She's a little perturbed and she's like, Where are those cards?" I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I had to play dumb. What was I to do? Hand them over. And so she gives me a little shove. "Move out of the way." And the cards are laying there, and of course I get caught. And the priest, Father Walters, he was a very mean man. If you had to go down to his office, you knew you were in trouble. So I go down there, and he calls my mom, and he tells her to come up to the school, and of course he speaks in a broken English. "You come up here, and you get your son." He's Lithuanian, my mom's Lithuanian, that's why I went to St. Catherine's. My father's Irish, that's why the McKay. So I go back down to his office, and of course, there's my mom standing there with the kitchen stick look in her eye. And of course, Father Walters tells her about the cards, shows her even, and he says, "We've had enough of you. You've been in trouble all the time. You're not welcome back at this school." My mom was crushed. She till we get home, young man. You're going to wish your father was still alive. She said that? You knew it was going to be worse than the kitchen stick. See, my mom was raised in an orphanage. She brought orphanage justice into our house. When I got home, she made me kneel for a half hour on a glass plate with uncooked rice on it. Oh man, that was brutal. You get up after what felt like days and you'd be mopping pieces of rice off your knees and there'd be pieces embedded in there. I probably still have pieces of rice in my knees. You'd be glad to see the kitchen sink after that kind of punishment. You don't want to be kneeling on no rice. But, my mom was a saint. She went back up to that school and somehow in Lithuanian she convinced them to let me back in. And they did! One false move out of you, McKay. If I so much as catch a whiff of you. Well, not 1 week later, it's Christmas. And me and Kenny steal a bottle of Imperial whiskey from our neighbor's house. And we go down by the river to drink it, down by Meats Merchants on 17th Street. Everybody's out and about visiting for Christmas holidays, so nobody was gonna miss us. We get this bottle, and it tastes terrible. But we drink the whole thing. Oh man, I got sick as a dog. It was early in the afternoon, but I was calling it a night. So I'm laying in bed, head spinning, feeling awful, wondering why people drink this stuff, and in the distance, I can hear something. Mikey, Mikey. Oh, slowly, I'm coming through my haze, and it begins to get clearer. Mikey! Oh, it was my mom, and she was yelling. It turns out I had to serve Christmas Mass at midnight. Oh yeah, for Italians, I was an altar boy. Can you believe that? What are you doing? Get up, get out of bed. You gotta get served Mass. It was like 11:45 or something. I picked my head up off the pillow. My face is green. My eyes were bloodshot from getting sick, and I smell like a whore. But I raced to St. Casimir's, and I opened the door, and there's Father Walter standing there with his arms across his chest. And he knew what was up immediately. And before I could do anything, the back of his hand is whipping across my face. Get out of here, and don't you ever come back to this church again! And that was it. No more Catholic school for me. I was a bad kid, no doubt about it. My poor mom. God rest your soul. Oh, there's Irene in the bathroom. There's the body. Her body. She almost doesn't seem real. She's empty. She's gone. Oh, I knew this. I knew this about our bodies. I knew our bodies weren't real without us inside. I've been here before. I'm 11. My father is lying in his casket. I kiss my fingers, and I put them to his lips. They are hard and cold. He is empty. Pittsburgh is suddenly too familiar. I realize I see my father everywhere on the south side. In the men, in the women, in the bars, in the addiction. I see him now, in Irene.
Southside has everything! From 10th Street to 26th Street, you can get a cup of coffee, a shirt, book a number. You can do everything! You can buy a bottle of wine, get dental work, high glasses. We even have a Burger King. Having it our way. Excuse me. Southside has plenty of restaurants. You know Permanis? You ever have it? Oh my God. Nice thick Mancini's bread, angle sliced, any kind of meat you want on it. Corned beef, pastrami, even egg, cheese, fried peppers, their famous vinegar coleslaw, lots of pepper, and then they top it off with French fries. Yes, French fries! That is uniquely Pittsburgh, hand-cut, hand-peeled, still to this day. Southside has everything. Used to have more. Back in the day, there were probably 10 banks, 15 churches, lots of street peddling, rural butcher shops. People were a little slower back then. Working class people. You can look at somebody and 5 minutes later you can know if they're going to be an asshole. J&L gave a lot of people work, among other things. As far as polluting the river and whatnot, yeah, that happened, I guess. But there were still fish in it, though. Even with all that pollution, you could go down there and catch a fish. People swam in it for the longest time. I did. I'm a championship swimmer. 100 meters in 50 seconds. That's Olympic record stuff. People swam in it all the time when I was a kid. Christ! The city hired lifeguards. I mean, how much pollution can there be? Excuse me.
I worked at J&L. I was 18, 19. Me and my buddy, we worked in the foundry. Well, he worked in the blast furnace. I was a day laborer. I swept and cleaned. We got hired as summer help when they used to hire college students as summer help. I wasn't a college student, but I worked in the foundry. I made molds for the open earth. I was 18. It's so hot. It's so hot in there in the summertime. They had these guys, rammers, big guys. They go at the beach, working the sand. Nobody wanted up in there, but the pay was good. And when you were done, you were done. You just get up in there and you just shovel. Tough. Nobody wanted up on the beach, and these guys, these rammers, they wanted you to put this much sand on your shovel. This much, you know. The first time you up there, you ain't used to it, you know. They're yelling more, you know. I get up there shoveling, and honest to God, this is all I can put on my shovel, you know. I'm digging in there, and I hit some scrap steel, and I'm shaking, and these rammers are yelling more, you know. Come on! So hot in there, so freaking hot in there, tough. Yeah, but by the end of the week, though, I was getting this much sand on my shovel. Me and my buddy from the blast furnace, we took lunch together. We brought our lunch at first, you know, lunch boxes, 5 sandwiches, a gallon of tea. And then we followed the older guys. We walked the bridge, the hot metal over the 2nd Ave. And it used to be this little restaurant. Nah, not a restaurant, but this guy, they called him Walt the Greek. He had a little shop over there and he cooked and greased like this deep. He had these big hamburgers in there, and he had tea in there and that. Oh man, that food was so good. It was fried and greasy fat. He had one of them frying pans, a cast iron. You get a fried jumbo sandwich. He put it on nice thick Italian bread. Oh man, that food was so good. Yeah, after work, we went to the bar. Yeah, we come out and the other guys, they're like, come to the bar with us, you'll get served, keep your hard helmet on and that. Alright, we punch out, and as soon as you come out the gate, there used to be Patsky's bar. They had like no stools, sawdust on the floor. We thought we were tough. We got a draft, 2 draft beers. 18 years old, and we thought we were tough. Yeah, we were tough. We made steel.
South High School was about, say, maybe 70% white, 30% black. It was the mid-70s, and there was a lot of racial strife in Pittsburgh, a lot of stuff going down. But it was minimal as South High. You know, the white people lived down here in the flats, the black people lived up in the projects up in Arlington Heights, and we got along, you know, everything was cool. I lived on Larkin's Way. I didn't grow up in no prejudiced house. My mom and dad weren't interested in that shit. But I remember going up to the projects to visit my friend Mike. We played football together at South High. I was the quarterback, he was my receiver. Pittsburgh is a big football town, and football's colorblind, so we just got along at South High, the blacks and the whites. But I remember going up to the projects that first time and getting hit with some understanding of, like, us two got a different battle. Me and Mike, he's fighting a different fate, for real. I mean, I was always friends with a lot of black dudes from places like Arlington Heights and Hazelwood. Dudes from Hazelwood, their dads worked in the mill too. Their dads went out after work, drank their shots, drank their beers. They were family. And it was important that you said please and thank you and open up the door for women. And that kind of stuff was real important. And color really wasn't. Hazelwood was just like us. And when both towns lost J&L Steel Mill, Hazelwood went to hell, man. The drugs rolled in, and that town has been getting strangled, literally, ever since. Now, instead of just alcohol, crack cocaine is everywhere. Dudes getting shot, dudes shooting other people. Meanwhile, Southside's been revitalized. You from Southside, you a yuppie. Bet. People want to complain about parking, about noise, but I say, okay. You want someone parking in front of your house that don't live there? Or you want the Crips and the Bloods up in here with the crack and the heroin? Okay? You know? Southside's lucky. You want to be grateful for what you got. Or long for the days which are gone. Me, I'm just grateful Southside turned out this way. Memories of my father come flooding back to me as I stand over Irene's body. I haven't thought about my father in a long time. Being here makes me remember all the things I worked so hard to forget. I want to get out of here. I want to run until I can't remember again. I found Irene's body. It is cold. My work here is done. I run out of Irene's house. Suddenly I'm overcome by a strange feeling. I turn my head, and at the end of my block stands a giant buck. He's staring at me. I can see his breath in the cold air. He's huge. He's beautiful. I can hear his heart beating, slow and strong. I can feel the blood rushing through his veins. He's standing there with the city skyline behind him, and somehow he doesn't seem out of place. I walk towards him. He lets me walk towards him. I look into his black eye. He's staring straight into mine. What are you doing?
moving this chair.
Is that your chair?
What?
Is that your chair?
No.
No. No, it's not our chair. Why are you touching it? Why do you care? Unfrickin' believable. Who told you you can move that chair?
We are trying to park.
I don't care what yins are trying to do. Who told you you can move that chair?
Nobody told us. What are you talking about?
The yins live here.
We're going out, lady.
Oh, you're going out.
Yes?
Yins coming to my house?
What?
Yins coming to my house to go out.
Why would we do that?
Why are yins touching my chair? I told you, we're trying to park. I don't care what yins are trying to do. Who told you to move that chair? You don't come over here and move people's chairs. This is my house. This is my chair. This is my space.
This is a public street, okay? You can't own a parking space on a public street.
Who is talking about? Oh, where are yins from?
Connecticut?
Connecticut! Where do yins live in Pittsburgh?
Oh, Shadyside.
Oh, Shady Side. Will you get back into your Ford Fiesta? Drive away from my chair back to Shady Side before I go and get my broom.
You are crazy, lady.
Crazy. Yins want to see crazy. Touch my chair again, and you're going to meet crazy.
Are you threatening us?
I'm not threatening yins. I'm telling yins.
I could call the cops.
Oh, call the police. I'm sure they'll be very interested that you're here parking at 12:30 in the morning in front of my house, smelling like a bottle of rum. So yins can go out for some more rum, so you can stumble back to your car, falling all over each other, screaming at boys, wearing practically nothing, vomiting in my doorstep, so yins can drive back to Shady Side before it's too late to get some more rum. I'm sure the police will be very interested in that.
Whatever, old lady.
Oh, lady, people on the south side are crazy. People from Connecticut are jagoffs!
Okay, I wrote this song while I was on the 51C coming back from my boyfriend's house in Carrick. 179 bars on the flats, 179 bars, where one closed, another rose. 179 bars on the flats. Beehive, lava lounge, intermission tiki. I down an F9 starting to feel freaky. The girls on the block playing fast and loose. The boy grabbed my caboose at the Smiling Moose. Ramas and babushkas hanging out at Hookah Booka. I'm wearing next to nothing so the boys can either look at. If you wanna see strange, you don't have to look far. Casey's had a midget in a box on the bar. Old school dives like Hopies and D's. Got a trough in the floor where the men used to be. Southside, Southside, everyone get their party on. Gonna be drinking all night long. Southside, Southside, drinking on Carson Street. It's Friday night and I just got paid. Going out with my girls cause we wanna get laid. Hair done, heels on, where do we go first? There's so many bars that can quench our thirst. The first place we rock is the bar at Dish. Can be drunk in there, acting amateur-ish. Top shelf drinks, let the rich and pay a tab. Save our money for later, where we need to call a cab. To Mario's in the fourth quarter of the game. 6 Super Bowl rings, that's how we take our fame. Got hit on by a jag and I had to decline. So many bars and so little time. There's Chuckers 1 and Chuckers 2. Onyx in Polish vets and OTB 2. Piper's Pub, Walker's Pub. Hold up, we gon' hit the club. Club Cafe ain't got no cappuccinos. And upstairs at Elixir will only take casinos. Remember when Diesel used to be in Fat City? Rock has been replaced by girls with fake titty. I need a drink, I can hardly think. I need a drink and it better be pink. Jack stacks, wax of motorcycle packs. Seems like no one's been affected by the stupid drink tax. Outside the Jagger Bush, hitting off that chronic kush. High as a kite, cause I ain't no lush. Cruising with my crew down by the south side works. Need a break from the hoochies and the frat boy jerks. A long time ago, this used to be the mill. Blood, sweat, and tears poured in to make steel. 24-hour bars. Back in the days, whistle blows and you shift and you drink your whole pain. Big iron coke, it's like hot metal labor. J&L disappear.
My dedication to East Carson Street, Joe. I live here. This one time, I was super drunk down here and I got pulled into an alleyway by a homeless man. He grabbed me. I was so scared. I live here. My mom's is right there. I'm 15 and I've lived here my whole life. I love it here. It's so much fun. There's this guy down here called Kung Fu Joe. He's a homeless man and we're like best friends with him. He's so nice. We see him down here all the time and we have really deep talks with him about life. He's so inspirational. We were just talking about evolution. I was like, I failed school. And he was like, you didn't fail because you didn't die yet. I almost cried. Kung Fu Joe says I got a lot of life left in me. Hey boy, what are you doing here? Where'd you come from? Do you live here? I didn't think your kind lived in the city. I've never seen one of you up close before. Can I touch you? Okay, I won't touch you. Hey, are you the one eating my peas? It's okay if you are. It's not like I would have known what to do with them had they lived. I think I grow things just to see if I can. To see if I can make something live. A woman died just now. Just now, I found her, but it wasn't her anymore. Life is over so quickly, and then there's nothing. Did you come for her? You here to help?
You here to help make pierogies? Your hands washed? Scrub. Now go on in there. Get under them fingernails. Under hot water for 20 seconds. Hot water with soap. She knows how to wash her hands. Well, I would hope this isn't her first time. Hey, use a paper towel to turn off the water and to open the door. Leave her alone. What? We're working with food here. Just be nice. Whatever. All right, all set? Okay, put this hairnet on and let's get the pinching.
Don't mind her. She'll take care of everybody.
I want you to sit here near me so I can watch you.
They're real territorial here. You do it their way or no other.
Hey, there's a right way and a wrong way. I know how you like to do things, but I prefer to do things the right way.
Do like this, girl. Take the dough, put it in your hand, grab some potato, and then smoosh it down.
I don't smush it down, I just wrap.
You're probably doing it wrong.
Python.
Anyways, to close the pierogi, I smoosh then wrap. You try. Smoosh it down, then make a pinch like a little pie.
Oh, so you're the expert now.
She's been doing it longer than you.
Pauline, how long you been making pierogi? 45 years?
More than that.
50 years?
Pauline's been pinching since I went to school here.
Oh, and you're as old as the hills.
I've been here almost 60 years. Pinching 60 years.
That's a lot of pinching.
Things were different back then.
Yeah, everything was done by hand.
When we first start, honey, everybody donates some because we don't have no money. I donate 25 pounds of flour, the other ladies donate the potato and the onion and cheese, and everybody loved them.
They were the best back then, and they're the best now.
Best thing back then was George's on 12th Street across from the playground. He sold 5 hamburgers for $1. Best hamburgers in the world.
We're not talking about hamburgers here.
Lots of things, very different when I first arrived in this country.
Oh, you're telling me they knocked all them houses down and put that stadium up there behind the church.
My father lived there in Midway.
Yeah, that's how little Ukraine got up the boat when all those people displaced.
Look at you, girl. You're doing so good. You're fast. You're not busy, girl. You come back and help us. Everybody welcome.
We're in here every Thursday except for in the summer.
You get a free dozen to take home and eat for helping out today.
Is that the only reason why you're here?
There's cheese, there's potato and onion, there's sauerkraut.
Don't eat the dough like this one. You'll get bloated.
Don't tell her that.
What? We can all tell you're doing it just by looking at you.
Then the chef, man, yes, Jack got healthy. I tell her we need more potato.
Rows of 5, hon. We make rows of 5 here. I don't want you to get fired on your first day.
Can't tell her that. You'll scare her away.
Hey, we don't need no amateurs here.
Close it, okay? Press it so it's closed, girl. Then you put it on the tray. You're doing so good.
Everyone, Miss Warshi had a birthday on the 13th, so we're going to sing Manahayalita.
I love that song.
You just mouth the words. Manahayalita, Manahayalita. Was trevier, was pasanier, Manahayalita.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Never ask a lady her age.
I'm 89. I was born in Ukraine. I come here December of 49. We come from Germany. The Germans took us from Ukraine to work during the war. After the war, we were in camp, waiting. Then we come to Pittsburgh. The train took us from Ellis Island to Station Square. When we first arrived, the priest announced in church and asked if anybody could take us in. Our family said yes, and we moved in with them onto 12th Street. The church sponsored many families after the war. We left Germany to have a better life. My children went to school here, took communion here, we go to church here, and now this is our life. And I thank God for that. I love Pittsburgh.
I grew up here on 18th and Merriman, where those modern townhouses are going for $500,000 now. The neighborhood was small, teeny houses. Everybody had a front porch or a stoop. There was Belgian block in all the alleys, and it was congested. But it was a familiar kind of congestion because it was either polkas or cursing or children screaming or crying or laughing, human noise, and it was great. I always felt safe. I never felt lonely. Everybody took care of each other back then. That feeling is still here in some places. My brother-in-law passed last year. He lived on Wharton Street. They called him the mayor of Wharton Street. Everybody knew him. I was reminded how special this place is the day my brother-in-law left home to go to hospice. He battled horrible cancer for years and years. He was a fighter. The family all rallied around my sister to help her take care of him, but it was time. He stayed at home as long as he could. On the morning that he left home to go to the hospice, word got around to the neighbors, but we didn't know it. We were saying our goodbyes. The paramedics came in and they put him on the wheelie thing, the stretcher, the gurney, and he wanted to go sitting up. He was a very proud man and he did not want to go lying down. We followed them as they pushed him out, and they put him into the ambulance backwards so that he could see out. And there were all the neighbors. The whole street.
Tony told
Everybody
Molly
blowing
told
kisses and waving good. Terry, and it all happened quietly and beautifully. People were pouring out of their houses. Kids, dogs, families, blowing kisses and waving goodbye. and he tipped his hat. And that was it. He passed 2 days later. It's that kind of community that I am talking about that most of us have lost. Imagine that being your last memory. The vision of your neighbors gathered around to see you off, to send you on. It's that kind of connection that makes a place so special. It's not about money or what you have. It's about who you are, your character. The buck softens, and a wave of calm passes through me as something starts to shift. He's breathing, I'm breathing, our breath is intertwined in the cold. I can feel my heart beating, steady and strong. I can feel the blood rushing through my veins. He didn't come for Irene. He's here for me. I can't keep running forever. Everything changes. Even me. I close my eyes. I can hear the birds chirping. A breeze blowing. A train from the flats below. We called it paradise, and it was. But like most things, you had to find it yourself. Paradise was nice. You go down 26th Street toward the river, and there used to be, well, the mill was there. You go down 26th Street toward the mud, and there was a fence. And you jump over. And then there was a tunnel, like a sewage tunnel or a drain or something, and you go through that tunnel and to the right, and it was paradise. It was all green grass. It was like the trees, the greenery. It was surreal. Right near the mill, right in the back of the mill. We didn't see a lot of trees back then, especially near the mill. You go through the tunnel and to the right, and it was just like gold carpet. I mean, we'd never seen gold carpet before, but it was just like gold carpet, just like paradise, right off of 26th Street. It was so beautiful back there. It was my favorite place because the rest of the world wasn't like that. Paradise was special, but in order to get to it, you had to find it. You go through Shit Creek, which was actually just that sewer draining off, and it stunk. And most people wouldn't go beyond that point, but paradise was waiting there, and not everybody got to see it. You spend your whole life in one place, and still you can't know everything. To get to paradise, you have to go further. To get to what's waiting, you have to go just beyond where you want to stop. my eyes. And the buck is gone. The sun is going down. The view of the slopes and the flats and the city come alive with lights. I breathe in the cold air. And I feel bigger. I stand, looking out over the city, seeing everything as it is. I'm home.